why it is vital as a new earth awakening entrepreneur to know the macro business perspective of what is happening here on this planet. In this episode, we are going to talk about what macro actually is. Hint, it's not at the level of the markets and society. When you understand this and you're aware of it as you create your conscious online business, you will be able to create more soulmate clients. You're going to be able to have your content go viral. You're going to have more ease and flow. And in your life, more abundance pathways will open up. You'll have deeper relationships with your partner, your kids, those around you. And you're going to feel more and more joyous. So many people aren't feeling joy, not only in their business, but also in their life, because they don't realize the macro perspective. If you want to make more money in your conscious awakening business, whether you're a coach, healer, consultant, online product based provider, online service provider, whatever it may be, knowing this can set you free. Welcome to your daily episode of the New Earth Entrepreneurship Show. I am your coach, your soul brother, your fellow golden age entrepreneur, Spence Madden, founder, New Earth Business Coaching. So many amazing entrepreneurs, many of you listening to this, come to New Earth Business Coaching and you say, hey, I really need to figure out a strategy that feels in alignment with me, that allows me to create financial sovereignty, time freedom, that brings my genius forward. This is what I want to do. And when we start working together, yes, we always look at the conscious strategy, but one of the things that I've learned on my 15 years of being in the entrepreneurial business space, business coach for 10, is that the energetics are so important. The energetics of who you are, what is happening in the markets and society, and what is happening on a planetary and universal time matrix level are so key. You want to break the matrix? Consider some of the things that we're going to talk about and then apply it to your business. So as always, everything with Golden Age entrepreneurs is be open to listening, listen, not from the ego, evaluate, discern, find what is true for you in the moment, and discard the rest. This is a pretty multi-dimensional, multi-layered, I'll say, proposal. I'll say it's my current gnosis where I'm at my journey. And you definitely have to be an awakening entrepreneur to be able to dabble in this. This is not the kind of thing I can just don't show to my parents. They're not going to get it. They're going to lock up. Maybe they're getting it on a soul level, which is quite beautiful. But in that forward facing around the dinner table conversation, when I would visit them, this is not something my wife and I would really be talking about too much. It's not that we don't talk about it. We talk about it on our podcasts and when people interview us and in our work, our blogs, all this stuff. But it's pretty big. So I went to business school, went to Canada's top business school, graduated with all the different things they let you put after your name and like cum laude, all that kind of crazy Latin control, weird stuff. So it was an interesting experience. And what I realized is I was taught and programmed that the macro level is basically country to country. Globalization, the global trade is the most macro. This is what the news talk about. It's the markets. This is what's happening between China and the US, blah, 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 blah. This is the macro. But as I went on my spiritual awakening and traveling the world, rites of passage, attending seminars, some plant medicine, going deep with my partner, spending time in the sweat lodges, in the wilderness, all these great things, is that the macro that we've been taught is false. The macro literally goes all the way up to the divine, God, source, creator, consciousness, the great mystery, which is a massive, it's like beyond how a human mind can comprehend. That's the macro. And if you start with the divine, and this isn't about religion, this is about a personalized relationship and realizing that you are a fractal of the divine. It's ultimate, some call it a being, some call it an energy, some call it everything, whatever linear term you want to put on it, is being that divine energy incarnated in, wait for it, the earth realm, the earth planes. Now, part of this massive connection to the divine involves the creation of the universal time matrix. I like Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss, where It's that idea of there's worlds within worlds, there's levels within levels, there's dimensions within dimensions. You can spin yourself in circles. Some like to say there's 12 dimensions. I've heard there's 50 dimensions. There's infinite amounts of dimensions. We're just trying to put a linear term on this because it's all just sound, frequency, and vibration. However, what we perceive as awakening souls can be thought of initially as the universal time matrix. So let's just say this is essentially the bubble, the illusionary bubble that we are going through on our soul journey. A tiny grain of sand in this balloon bubble, that's the universal time matrix, is Earth, the Earth plane, which is a tiny little fraction of the solar system and all of these things. Remember, planets as we know them, solar systems, we're not even getting a fraction of the truth. It's all been distorted through things, 4-letter space agencies and all that kind of stuff. So in this Earth realm, for millions of years, linear years, there has been a deep desire for souls, fractals of the divine, to experience what it is like to be incarnated in the etheric and the physical. Some would say, term this as lower density. Now, so often in the spiritual new age space, the 3D, 4D, whatever D you want to put it, the dimension, the density of Earth is seen as a negative. But this is not true. This was a desired experience to come here for this moment in time that we're now experiencing, which can be termed the Great Awakening, the rise of the Rainbow Tribe, the Hopi Prophecy Rising, whatever, for this specific time, the Golden Dawn. Souls lined up to come into this Earth realm for the experience of being in a humanoid body. Now, I say humanoid because we feel very dense right now, but there was times when you would come in and it was etheric, like the Lemurians were shimmering. At times, basically able to walk through walls and things like that. And what happened is we essentially became stuck as souls here. There was an invading forces, part of the grand cosmic divine plan. This isn't right or wrong, but it's just what happened, that essentially put up a barrier where it became very difficult to actually be in such a high frequency, a state of joy, that you could transcend this quote unquote frequency fence. So reincarnation became a thing. And as we continue to reincarnate, we forgot who we actually were, these massive soul travelers, these huge beings of light, these knowing that we're the fractals of these divine, and we looped. We die, we're born. And part of it is our memory gets wiped. When you die and you get your life evaluated by the councils, God, whatever you want to perceive it, before you incarnate back in, you are given your soul mission. You know when they say you're judged, well, it's not God sitting there judging you. It's literally your frequency seeing if it's high enough to cross the frequency fence to continue your soul journey and the dissolving of this illusionary nature. This has been very difficult. That's why there's only a handful of quote unquote ascended masters. Yeshua, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Buddha, Muhammad, some say Tesla. There's been many who have done it. Babaji, that were able to move beyond it and then choose to come back. But for the majority of us, once you crossed over and came into the Earth realm, we haven't gotten to the level of frequency where we've been able to leave. So this has created a lot of perceived negativity, compaction of our DNA, loss of spiritual gifts, war, rape, terror, trauma, control. And these beings manipulated, the ones who put the frequency fence up, basically manipulated many humans and souls through various things like soul attachment into trying to dominate all souls. And you can see if you keep reincarnating and people keep trying to dominate, forgetting that they are the divine, then very quickly you have a very interesting society like we have now, with poverty, disconnection from God, or middleman between God, people taking, agencies taking our power away, all of these kind of things. That ultimately comes back to the fact that we've looped so many times. But we must take in the planetary perspective. And this is something that the 4-letter space agency is not going to tell you. Our solar system is actually very small. It's not millions and millions of miles as they tell you and all that stuff that's so laughable when you actually even have half a brain to look at the sun and how the rays hit it. But we're not going to hit the Earth. We're not going to go into that. We're going to go even bigger than that. We're going to blast. We're going to go full quantum right here. Then we have the solar system. Our solar system revolves around the sun, contrary to what people say. And then our sun revolves around, our entire solar system is fed because our sun gets its energy from Alcyon, which is our grand central sun. and it continues going outward from there. Now, Alcyone, which is a massive, massive sun, is a deep, you could say it's a vortex, it's a connection point for it's a very important component of the universal time matrix, that a lot of energy and knowledge and wisdom from the divine, from other species, is transmitted through Alcyone. And then that energy comes into our sun, which then gets disseminated into the earth realm. Alcyone is pretty big. It takes 25,000 600 years, 900 years, I've heard, approximately 26,000 years to transit one loop of it. If we're thinking in linear time, right? Like a golf ball going around a balloon, circa one way all the way around, one pass around. Alcyone has this interesting feature, you could call it a galactic feature, a planetary feature, of a ring of light that essentially comes out similar to how we're sold the idea of the rings of Saturn, but it would be oriented north to south. And it's 2,000 years wide for how our planet transits through it. So every 11,000 years, we come into this 2,000 year transit approximately, go around, and then go back through it. What happens is you fall into darkness as civilizations if you're not spiritually, if you're not growing spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, connecting into the divine. As a species and as an individual, you get compaction, you get darkness as we move away to the outer edges of Alcyone, away from the photon. When the Mayan calendar stopped on I think it was 2012, and everyone was freaking out, end of the world, it wasn't that it stopped. That was the first moment when we entered back into the photon belt. So we've been in the photon belt for linear years in 2024. From there, like 12 years. It's 2,000 years long. And the interesting thing about the photon belt is it's such high energy coming through and light that we're literally getting washed over, that it brings everything up. Greed, shame, guilt, control, all of it gets brought up to the surface to be cleared collectively, with other species and with ourselves, the whole solar system. And this causes a lot of turmoil and intensity if you're coming out of darkness, because you're coming out of darkness very rapidly. And what I foresee is, as we go deeper, all of the business patriarchal systems built to control lust, greed, suppression, competition, dog eat dog will go down. They will no longer stand. So you, as a new earth visionary entrepreneur, need to know this macro perspective, because it allows you to position yourself with diversity, to get your genius out, to have lots of different income streams, to have businesses that are simple, that are resilient. Because guess what? This extends to society. All of the control, all of the alien oppression, all of these systems that are designed to limit you, they're going to come up, and there may be turmoil. There may be a grand solar flash, like some in the New Age community talk about. I don't know. That would be cool. But at the same time, we're still playing out what we perceive to be a linear script as a species. And this means that the next 5 to 10 years could be very interesting and potentially intensive as an entrepreneur. And I'm here to bring that macro. Yeah, the markets are going to crash. They're going to manipulate them. They're going to try and do everything they can to make the middle class and low class even more poor as they lose control, as human consciousness rises. Why do you think they push an AI agenda so hard? However, there is hope. You, as the golden age entrepreneur, when you know this macro perspective and you work down from, like I say this loosely, work down from, and it's a very third dimensional construct, work down from the divine into the planet, universal time matrix level, into the different dimensional levels, into who you are, all the way down to being the soul here in this earth realm at this perceived now moment in linear time, is to just enjoy and keep going and to build your business in a way that has you in your zone of genius. And when you do this, and other golden age entrepreneurs do this, we accelerate the dissolving of the dystopian control timeline and embrace who we truly are, which is a peaceful, loving, heart-centered race, protectors of this corner of the universal time matrix. No need to raise a sword because our frequency is so high. We're going to connect with all the other beings, and ultimately we're going to transcend all of that and coming to know ourselves as these divine beings of light incarnated in human form at this time. It's really big stuff. And I want you just to take a bit of time and reflect on the macro perspective of that. How does that make you feel? Go sit under a tree and ruminate on that. How are you going to redesign and engineer your business for these times? Remember, human consciousness is rising, and I'm going to record a podcast on how your buyer consciousness is rising and how you can effectively invite and sell your offers to this new level of consciousness. So look for that. You're going to want to like and subscribe so you don't miss that. Now I have to hop on a call with another soul brother to line up a collaborative podcast. I'm going to put it here. This is the Golden Age Entrepreneurship Show. Like, subscribe. If you want to work with me, New Earth Business Coaching, go to my website. It's in the show notes. Send me a message. We'll see if you're a fit. We are the Golden Age Entrepreneurs rising together. As always, aho, namaste, all my relations. This is Spence Madden, the No BS business coach for New Earth Visionaries, signing out. I'll see you tomorrow. 365 days of the New Earth Entrepreneurship Show right here on the app that you're listening to. Have a great rest of your day.